But it's be polite, be kind, but have a plan to kill everybody that you meet. I love it. It's such a badass quote from a badass general.
That took a twist
that
I was not ready for.
Rocked your locker a little bit, huh?
Us.
Yeah.
614 Headsets is proud to be sponsored by Fundraising University Ohio. Fundraising University Ohio offers a variety of fundraising efforts that helps football teams run profitable, effective, and fast-paced fundraisers designed to raise the most money in the shortest amount of time to reach their fundraising goals. Fundraising University Ohio is locally owned, operated, and with their 6-step blitz system will help your team maximize profits. Brent Maxwell with Fundraising University will sit down and help you strategize and execute your fundraiser. If you're interested in us running a fundraiser for you, please contact Brent at the letter B Maxwell at fundraising.u.net or 740-501-8946 to learn how you can get started with fundraising.
It's a good win. There's a lot of people. It's like Woodstock, except everybody's got their clothes on.
But eat a damn snack.
You're like my wife when you get in space. You just get lost.
Short steps are better than long steps. That's the only time in your life you're going to hear short is better than long.
Welcome back. Here we are. Another year down with the boys of 614 Headsets.
Back on Kyle's deck, right? Back
Same
on the
exact
deck.
spot.
Same spot.
Yeah, you might hear some birds. You're going to hear some birds. Who knows what you're going to hear on this, right? But Season 3, Episode 80, Sidelines and Storylines, the anniversary episode.
That was a good title. Kyle came up with that, and he hit us with that this week.
He
I was
usually
like-
comes up with a title.
I was like, that's a
little more
fire
creative
one.
brain than us.
I can't take a lot of credit. ChatGPT does a lot of good
Yeah.
things.
Unbelievable, too.
And it's just you got to keep searching until you find what
If
you
you're-
like. And sometimes you got to combine a couple
But
and
if
you
you're
come
a
up with a
school
good
teacher,
one.
ChatGPT helps so much, by the way, too. And I use it all the time in my classroom to make my worksheets.
So, yeah. It's times it does some good stuff,
money.
right? Throw an article in
Yeah.
there. It'll spit out some questions for you. You can edit it, all that good stuff. But I'm excited, and I've been waiting all day for this. We've got a fantastic spread here from the snacks from the wife again. We appreciate you, babe.
The
doing-
real stout.
supporting everything that's going on.
He's taking the kids in right now to do bath, to go to sleep.
Yeah.
She made us this beautiful spread. Like, that's the real stout.
Yeah, she's a big supporter. We appreciate her.
And
all
your
the women.
mom, like,
Andy
you
got it.
realize, like, that stouts, the two women in Stout's life that are the most, besides his daughter, are the most important, actually take care of me more than anybody else.
Let's hope your wife doesn't listen to the show. But, hey, we are excited to get rolling. Don't forget, hey, this is 614 Headsets. We're the weekly podcast where we say strategy meets story, right? We're hopefully your stop for where football content is both entertaining, educational. We've been enjoying this ride we're on. We've got a great lineup coming up this summer. We've got some amazing guests coming up that we're excited to have on. How we doing, guys? We good?
Life's good, right? I think it's been a great week. We're on the countdown, I feel like, at school, right? Everything's winding down. You're getting the missing work done. You're getting the kids grinding. You're talking about summer. It feels like summer. We're out here hanging out, right? And then we went to today at football. This is what I said to our kids at the end, like, you can smell footballs in the air. I feel like only football coaches understand that. Like, when you walk outside and you feel it. Like, I feel
getting closer.
I feel like football is right here.
You walk out on the turf, it's got that little rubber burn
Yeah.
smell. You know what I mean? Just a little bit from
We
the
ain't
heat
got
coming
turf,
on.
but we walk out on that
Yeah,
grass,
you know what I'm
baby.
talking about. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Word is, Ryan's grass was a little rough at the showcase.
Hey, Coach Manilak, I know he was giving me a hard time about it, but we like to say we get it out the mud. So we definitely had a little longer grass. The rain, a little adversity,
Yeah.
and still had some kids get some offers. We were
Saw
able to have a good showcase, so that didn't bother
Bowling
us
Green
at
was
all.
one of the offers that day,
Yep,
right?
BG.
Yeah.
Then we got, and then he also got Kent State,
Yeah,
and then
I
he's
saw
going
that.
to Eastern Michigan as well. He'll get
Good.
that one, and so it's been Yep,
awesome.
Miami, no. So
No,
I
he'll
don't
get
know.
there, don't
All
worry.
right. I'm just making sure. He has a 3.6. He can get in there.
He can get in Miami.
Yeah.
Easily. He'll be good. He'll get
Hey,
there.
make sure you
Ashland's
make sure,
easy to get in.
make
Oh,
sure-
obviously. Oh, my gosh.
All right, but
Make sure you subscribe, right? Make sure you follow the show. Follow us on all the socials, 614 Headsets. We appreciate that. Tonight, we've got a lot of fan-submitted questions tonight. We've got basically everything that we're going to talk about was submitted by fans on different social media stuff. So we're excited to chop it up about that.
That's a cool thing for us, though. I don't know if our listeners know how cool that is.
It is cool.
Get the questions from the people that listen to us.
It is great. There's some really good ones on there, too.
Yep.
And there was a lot. We kind of chop it down a little bit, and we'll save some for the future. But as we get going, though, we always start the show inspiring you and motivating you to be your best, just like Max Effort Muscle does, right? And so this segment, if this is your first time tuning in, is the Max Effort Locker Rocker. And
Football coaches, listen up. You spend hours in the weight room and on the field pushing your athletes to be their absolute best. But are they fueling their bodies with the right supplements to maximize performance and recovery? Max Effort Muscle provides safe, trusted, and effective supplements designed specifically for athletes, trusted by Division I strength coaches and top college programs across the country. Their lineup includes everything your team needs to train harder, recover faster, and perform at their peak, from whey protein, amino recovery, creatine monohydrate, and NDR hydrate.
Listen, everybody knows football is won in the trenches. Don't let poor nutrition be the weak link in your program. Reach out to them today and get your team on Max Effort Muscle. They work with any team, any size, any budget. Visit maxeffortmuscle.com and email Tyler Treadway. His email is treadway@maxeffortmuscle.com to learn more about team pricing, partnerships, and get a custom package made for your team for as low as $250.
we're going to change it up a little bit differently, and Ryan suggested that we each give our favorite quote on this special episode for this Locker Rocker. Ryan, you were adamant on knowing it off the top of your head, so no pressure, you're up.
Yeah, I feel like you got to know your favorite quote that you try to live by, right? Like you talk about it and you try to live by it. And some people like me might have it tattooed on them. And so
mine's tattooed on me too.
Yeah,
So,
do you?
yeah.
I like that.
Mine is not.
Ours, but for me, it's like our greatest glory is not in the rising, but in the rising after the fall. So for me, I feel like that's definitely translates to where I've been at Northland and where we were as a program, especially at the beginning, those first 2 years, right? Like now we've been able to rise and it's been great, but like for us, we're not trying to lean on that. But at the same time, that's a quote we live by, and you can do it day to day too. That's something you can live by day to day. You could fall every day. You can have something happen. You can have something that's a bad time in your life, but rising above that makes everything better.
You want to go, Dominic?
Yeah, I'll get mine. Mine is nothing like that. Mine, it's by General James Mattis. Okay.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I'll wait for it. It's also my dad's favorite quote, so I got that from him when I was a little teenager. But it's be polite, be kind, but have a plan to kill everybody that you meet. I love it. It's such a badass quote from a badass general.
That took a twist
yeah.
that I was
rock
not
your locker,
ready
huh?
for.
Rocked your locker a little bit, huh?
Us.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did not
polite,
see the last
be
part.
kind,
I
but have
didn't
a
at all.
plan to kill everybody you meet.
I like that. But Kyle, your turn. I don't know if
He's
you
really
can
good.
I don't know if you can follow that up.
I'm going to look this guy up tomorrow.
I don't know if you can follow that.
He's got
Mine's,
another great one. He was on TV. They said, "What keeps you up at night?" And he goes, "Nothing. I keep other people up at night."
Oh, my.
Ouch.
Yeah, rocked it again.
I need to meet this guy. Is he dead?
Oh yeah.
Not to kill the mood, but mine's a little more biblical, right? It's something I really believe in. It's guided me a lot, right? 1 John 5:4, it says, "For whatever is born of God is victorious over the world." Right? And it just means like being a believer, whatever the circumstances, whatever the adversity is, like you're stronger than that and you're going to overcome it. Right? And so that's always been something that's guided me. It's something I believed in, one of my favorite things. Going back to it, my grandma used to say it, pray for it over me. So to me, that means a lot. I guess even if you have to kill everybody in your way, it would be okay.
Yeah, that
right?
works too, though.
So that's the Max Effort Locker Rocker. Make sure you check out Max Effort Muscle. Any team, any size, any budget, or even just an individual. Use that code 614 headsets to save some money on fantastic stuff. I know we just shared last week our favorites, but great company, great guys over there. Check them out. Be your best. And let's get into this now. Let's get into the next segment here, the Pick Six segment.
Which is it's a pick six segment on steroids.
And yeah.
It's a pick
beat the
six
question.
it's a pick six with a
This is not-
2-point conversion.
It doesn't have to be rapid fire.
Let's have some fun here.
this
Let's
is
see how
the-
Ryan reads the ad today.
There's literally
All right,
three.
Go.
in person?
I'm waiting. Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
By memory.
The Pick Six segment is powered by Storied Rivals. Sports, media, championships, friendships, and life lessons are the most meaningful parts of the athletic competition. We are passionate about preserving them by offering the most unique highlight experience available.
That's right. Storied Rivals delivers your team's content with services designed to change the way you experience these unforgettable moments now and for a lifetime. Storied Rivals now offers a complete team apparel and player shop customizable to your program. Contact us by email at info@storiedraivals.com. And the reason why we're laughing, just so everybody knows, is it literally, for Ryan, it says the Pick Six segment is powered by Storied Rival Sports Media, period. But for the last 3 to 4 weeks, Ryan just continues to turn that into a run-on sentence. And it's not your fault because everybody just does know them as just Storied Rivals.
It's hard to read. I get it. Not everybody can do it
that's
too
a
well.
tough. That's a comma with the comma with the comma, right? Like, and there's that period thrown in. That's why. Hey, math is my thing, dude.
The other day, Ryan wanted to text me and just brag about how he's an accomplished teacher, and he asked me what I was like. I was skilled, whatever.
I was accomplished here, Johnny, just so you know.
And then he kept going. I'm like, Ryan, I haven't even signed in to see what I got. I don't care. like that. And I just said, he kept going. I'm like, at least I can read, right? I'm like, you still can't read.
That's a valid point, but I'm still accomplished.
So that's why we keep laughing. So here we are. It's like one of those things where somebody's injured, like this many days. We've had this many times since Ryan has said it right. I gave you.
You
here.
just stole my copy. You took one, buddy.
Here, I have an extra copy.
Yeah,
there you go. Let's start here at the top here.
For himself.
All right. I thought this was really interesting, and Ryan, you and I talked about something new you're doing in your program.
Hey, what paper is this? This is thick paper.
I know, it's nice. You got that money for that
is this
paper,
cardstock?
Yeah, my wife doesn't like the cheap thin paper. She buys a little thicker paper, and it holds up nicely.
How much money they got in this
Color
house? But all right,
too.
continue on. They got 3 water tables for 2 kids.
You can't see it behind you guys, but there's a gold-plated water table for their kids.
It's unbelievable.
Okay. Lies? Here we go. Coach Park submitted this. He said, in a society of selfishness, how do you emphasize being a great teammate and build leaders?
I like that. Do you want me? Who wants to go first on it? I don't care.
I asked the question, so I'll wait. I'll let somebody else answer it.
I'll go ahead and pop it off. I think for us, really digging into like our kids learning each other, right? I always want our kids to ask each other the different questions and be able to, summer, we match a young guy with an old guy, right? And they got to find everything out about these guys and be able to tell me, do they have a younger brother? Do they have an older sister? Whatever. And that's kind of their big
Titan
brother.
style.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's kind of their big brother, and they got to find out them. And then the younger guy got to ask questions about the program, right? And ask questions and learn about what we do and and that's what we've changed, and I love. And I tell people this when they talk about the change in the culture is our kids say now, it's not like, hey, just stop doing that. But you hear our kids like, hey, that's not what we do here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is my favorite thing that I hear throughout our practice. And I tell our kids all the time, like, that's when we knew our standard was our standard. Like, we're here now. Like, we're to the point where we know what's expected and our kids know what we need done. And it's for our older guys to pass that on to the younger guys. And that's a way to do it. And I feel like also for us, building leaders is being able to have those leadership meetings with those guys. And I think like a lot of people, there's controversy in some of the podcasts I listen to is, are leaders born or are leaders created? Or are they built? And I truly think being a leader can be taught to somebody, and I also think it can be born into somebody. I think there's 2 ways to go about it. And for us, we try to teach that leadership, and we try to have leadership meetings with our kids, and it's for them to get something out of it. Like, it's on your kids, just like in football, right? Like, they can sit in these meetings all day and watch film with you. Are they really getting something out of it, though? Are they taking their notes and making them take notes in those meetings, making them turn those in? And it's an extra step as coaches, but if you want that out of them, you have to be willing to sacrifice some more time out of your day to go look at those papers, to really dig into that and see who's falling behind. And those are some of the things that we do. And I think it's just kind of a team thing, right? Like, you have to rely on your older guys to pass down your culture. And leaders don't have to just be seniors. That's another huge thing we emphasize.
For sure. Diamond, I don't want to steal any thunder.
Sorry, guys. That was probably long.
No, it was good. No, these are going to be longer type responses just by the nature of what people are asking. But, Diamond, I don't want to steal any thunder from you, so I'll go last on, I guess, all of these. Go ahead.
Oh, go last. I've shared this story a couple times. Not story, but just like how it was when our head coach, Bruce Ward, came in. I think you have to, in a game where you have high school, college, and NFL, where all 3 levels, except for maybe NFL, are becoming increasingly, just to put it bluntly, like selfish in the game of football. College obviously is with the money and the transport. We see it. We see the drama.
Crazy, yeah.
I think high school has started to shift that way depending on where you're at. But I think in high school you have to have something that players bond to, they cling to. So like when Ward came in when I was a junior, that thing we bonded to was how crazy him and the other coaches were during our off-season conditioning program. The stuff that he would have us be doing was wild.
Yeah.
And so we as a team bonded to that, saying we went through XYZ. We're doing this for each other as a team. I'm not saying you have to go out there and annihilate your kids in a strength program, but there's got to be something they bond to. The love of the community, hard workouts, like
Love in the school.
a
Yeah, like all those
mission,
things,
a
yeah.
vision, or like a shared experience. You go to some schools, and you go to rural school, you go to city school, you probably have a lot of same experiences where they can all relate to
There
each
could
other.
be a lot of things, even like things that they go through in their lives, like
Correct.
tough times that they go through
Correct,
in
that they
their
can
lives.
bond
Yeah.
to. And so I think there's got to be something that they wrap around
I like
where it's
that.
this is what we're clinging to as a team. Because if you don't, I
Yes.
think then you're playing with fire.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I had down leadership meeting stuff too. We do that, and that's phenomenal. And I think you have to do that. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that just for the sake of we've already touched base on that. But we do that, and a lot of good programs do. And I think those are where you get to have a lot of meaningful conversations and really craft like main ideas or culture and stuff. But
And come up with those quotes, right? We all come up with.
yeah, I think one thing that's unique that we've done for a long time now is culture talks. So we start every week off, every Monday, right after our kids lift, we have a 15-minute culture talk. And it's crazy how it's an opportunity for us to reinforce culture ideas, where we're at as a program, what's going on. So those have been great. And I think it has made a difference in shaping the identity of our team over the course of the year. And then the other thing, I took it from a goal standpoint, most of our Garage Beer. Anytime you want to hop on as a new sponsor.
Had to get it nice and
Garage
close.
Beer, we would love to have you. Most of our performance goals that we believe translate to winning games that like we preach to our kids, we have up on our images and up on the wall, and we do all the data and statistics behind it to really drive home that point. They're team oriented. And so we build it on win the rushing battle, which is both sides of the ball and
like where you're
everybody.
taking this, yeah.
Right. Win the turnover margin, everybody, and creating explosive plays or limiting explosive plays. So win the explosive play margin almost. So we say those are the three measurables we look at as a program on the field that translates to winning. And I think by the nature of us having our best play on both sides of the ball and having these program goal, whole team goals, right? I think that helps a lot with combating some of the selfishness.
And being a great teammate, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's involved, like that. You kept saying that's everybody is involved in that, and both sides of the ball. So yeah, I think that's a fire one too.
That's great. Let's get into question 2 here.
You want me to read it?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Question 2 here. It says, it's from Coach Jalen over there at Pick North. What advice can you give a young coach starting their journey? This should be interesting. Like, Donovan's only on. We start year
Sayers
3
and I
or
are
4.
what? I mean, there's a 20-year age difference between us and Coach Stout, so you're not really a young coach
I feel like
anymore.
I have a bunch of stuff to say about this, but like
Maybe pick up.
it could be a long convo about this because the type of young coach that I feel like I was the young coach that I almost wouldn't even want on my staff. Just based on the fact that I feel like I questioned a lot of things that what Nate would do, and I would say a lot of things, and I wasn't scared to speak up. And I would say like now, as being a head coach and taking over a program at 24, I realized what type of assistant you really want and what type of person you want and coaching for you. I think for me, I would turn into more of a sponge and take everything in that Nate was doing at that program and how great and successful it's been at Pick North and the things and the opportunities he's provided for his kids after football. And I'd be more of a sponge. You know what I mean? I think Kyle was with me in those years, and he probably can relate and understand what I'm saying now. Like, I was more of like an aggressive young coach that was.
But an altercation after a loss to Westville Central might have saved the season.
Yeah, both of us. Yeah, both of us going crazy. But I think for me, it was more of I look back on my time, and I've told it's funny because Hillich is one of my guys, and I told him 100 times. I'll call him random times and be like, hey, I'll start the combo off with like, sorry. And he'll be like, what are you talking about? And I'll just tell him, dude, I had what happened to me is what I did to you, and the way you handled it is a lot better than the way I handled it, right? You handled it great, and that's what I tell young coaches. Just be a sponge, man, and take in everything, even if it's something that you don't agree with or something you don't like. And you can change it one day when you're the guy with the lead hat. And you're the guy that can lead the program, and you can make those changes in your program, but take in everything, and the positives and the negatives, and enjoy the ride, man. That's my second piece, is just enjoy the ride and enjoy the relationships that you get to build. And I'm in that stage now where I got kids coming back finally. We're going into year 6. I got kids coming back that are
Year 6 of coaching total?
Year 6 of head coaching.
Oh.
And so year 6 of being the head coach is what I'm going on this year. And I've had kids come back, and now one of my kids has their own kid, and we're sitting there talking about babies, right? Like with a kid that just played for me 5 years ago, and it's pretty interesting now, and it's just enjoy the ride, and enjoy the relationships, man. Those are the things. That's why you're in this business, and that's what you love to do. And don't ever let those relationships go away. Stay with those kids and continue to check in on them, even when they graduate from your program.
Yeah. Donovan, any wisdom in your short time span?
4 years, going on year 4.
I've completed 3, so not 4. Don't give yourself
Going on. Thank you, Sayers.
I like going. Going on 6 was big for me. It's pretty big. That's over the hump of 5. I finished 5, so that's a big hump, though. So.
I thought I was a deaf one. That's okay, though. I think what you said about relationships is big. I try to put aside, like, I coach for the same high school that I went to, the same head coach, a lot of the same coaches. So it's a different factor for me. Like, I'm trying to separate that. You call it bias, you call it emotion to it, but like trying to, for one, with the players, establishing a bond, like you said. I've got players that I love to check on, like from offensive linemen, that I will get back. Hey, congrats on the wedding, congrats on the kid, you name it.
It's awesome, yeah.
So I think building that bond.
What player have you had that's had a kid?
No. From me. There you go. There's the public news. There you go. I'm gonna join the gang with Stout and Sayers.
Congrats.
There you go. There you go.
It was on Instagram.
Yeah. Sure. You might as well tell everybody else.
Yeah. But I like that relationship. I try to. I'm selfish. Like, I have a good relationship with my college offensive line coach. Like, I texted him when I got engaged, when I got a ring, like when I found out I was having a kid. So that relationship. But then I think
must not be too good. He hasn't got him on the show yet.
Yeah.
He's a busy guy.
It can't be that great.
The Iowa Hawkeyes is a busy program.
Ducked and dodged him for a while, but go ahead.
The best offensive line coach in America in college football is busy. Okay, let's be real.
All right, Kyle, your turn. Go ahead, move on, because he doesn't have much wisdom in that space. But go ahead.
I don't want to cut him off. Were you done?
I was joking.
No, you're fine. I was going to say there's a player side, and then I think from the coaching side, as somebody who walked into that space, who knew like offensive line techniques, but didn't realize how little I knew about football. We'd walk into like offense staff meeting. I hear Stout, Coach Mario, our quarterback's coach, talking things. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Absolutely no idea. And like trying to learn and absorb as much as I can, I think, as a young coach is big. There's still a ton that I don't know, but it's like going from your first year of Spanish or French in middle school or whatever, whenever you did it, to like, all right, you're in your 3rd or 4th year now. You can get some sentences. You sound like a moron to the locals, but you can understand some sentences, right? You can speak some things. Stout and Mario are the locals.
I like that.
Like P and 10.
Yeah,
Kyle, why do you have so many mosquitoes back here?
Your little channel doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do nothing.
She
got
the clean fuel. I'm sorry, P and 10, right? P and 10. So I was going to say this: focus on being a great assistant. I think one of the things is like look for areas you could help a head coach or a coordinator. Do something for them. Like take over something for them. Take over the team shop. Take over the weight room. Take over something.
Make it yours.
And make it yours, and crush it. You know what I mean? So that's a big thing I said. Treat your current job.
I think about that. That's a great point. I have this one assistant. He does my attendance every day, and he's never stopped. And he's now my offensive coordinator, Coach Fells. This dude, no matter what, has attendance every day, and it's been like that from his first.
You read Bill Belichick's War Room, and a lot of it was like everybody that has been in his system, he started out with the most minuscule job. Literally like going to pick up the players. That was it. Or just getting able to scout a certain down. And he would just shred everything they did until it finally, each time, right, less revisions, they did a good job, gave them more. So I think that's a big part of that. If you want to be a coordinator or head coach, start learning in areas where you're weakest, right? Like he just said, I came in and it was like people were speaking a whole other language and I didn't know what was going on, right? I think start planning, writing down ideas, creating. If you want to be a head coach, you better start making a binder on your philosophy, how you would run the program, your calendar, all that. Not even saying you're going to use it, but if you're starting when you're applying, you're too late. You got to start to create your ideas and your own identity about stuff.
If you're going to be a head coach, be ready to be uncomfortable in a lot of meetings.
Yeah, and your playbook, whether it would be different, what you like start to create that. On the relationships with the players, I put that. But also, if I'm a young coach, what I would say, network. Yeah. There are so many teams, at least around here in Columbus, and so many coaches, they all know each other. If you don't do a great job where you're at, it's a phone call and guys know.
Yeah.
And opportunities, right? People jobs are changing here all the time. Yeah. And if you have aspirations of climbing up or doing more. I think the more you network with guys, and it helps when you're trying to plan things to do things too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's huge. So those were the couple different things I had down.
No, I like all those answers.
Question 3. How do you approach getting everyone on the same page, youth to varsity? Said most schools I've seen who are very successful for many years run the same things at the youth level up to the high school. What are some things you could do? And this is from Coach Brown.
Coach Brown, I appreciate the question. For me, that's tough because we don't have youth programs, right? Like we don't have feeders. We don't have a middle school program.
Talk about like previous experiences, or if you could.
No, I'm going to talk about what we do now still. Like no matter what, like we still have to be involved with a youth program or be involved with people. I think I go back to those relationship things again. I go back and say, hey, I got to build relationships with guys that are coaches in the little league or guys that know kids in the little leagues, or I just have to have a relationship with people that are involved in the little leagues, and then I can go to the middle school and say, hey, right, like I have a great 8th grader coming to me right now, and his previous coach contacted me and said, hey, you got to get to Woodward Park and see this kid because he's about to go sign the lottery to go somewhere else, right? So I go down to Woodward Park and meet him one day. He's a great 8th grader, going to be a freshman for us, and I go down and meet Keon, and he was like, I was like, hey, why would you go to these schools to come to Northland? Like, this is your home school. This is where you shouldn't lottery somewhere else. And he ends up at us the next week and starts working out with us, right? And that was based off the relationship I had with his coach and was able to go get him. At the middle school level, it's a little tricky in city, man. There's some things, the hurdles you got to jump are a little more, but being able to have those relationships, and that's how I do them in the city. And I hope that answers the question to where it gives some people some insight on city coaches and where we're at right now.
Yeah, I think there's two sides of this coin, and I think the hardest way to do that, like youth to high school, and you got some of it's luck, some of it is just how well you perform. But if you don't have, because I think it's driven from the high school level.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the same head coach for a long-term period, or even like same head coach, then like the same coordinator becomes head coach, the head coach retires.
For a while.
Like you have to have a continuous chain, and like we all hear about like the Kaufmans with Crabtree, like the Upper Arlington, and then you hear different. But like you don't have that, whether it's from retiring or different circumstances. How hard is it to build that youth program if the youth coaches, middle school coaches, even if they exist, are like, all right, well, a new person, different culture. But I think like and my wife went to Upper Arlington, and so this part of it, like she talks about all the time. Upper Arlington youth to high school is on the exact same page. Like they run the same plays, they have the same structure, they have the same team set up every single year. The community also has a little more money, so it makes it a little easier, but it's a structure to it. And again, that's hard if you don't have the same program culture in place in high school with a head coach.
Yeah.
I think this is, I wrote this down, I think this is one of the hardest things there is to do well.
Yeah.
You think there's a lot of things that make it difficult. We're trying to improve at it. I think we try to have clinics and invite guys to practice. Donovan and I worked with the youth coaches to have a special 3-day extra free clinic for all the youth linemen in Gahanna. Give those drills back to the coaches too and stuff. We just spent like last month getting all of our youth coaches on First Down Playbook together.
For 35,000 editable and custom team plays.
Yeah, and so we're going to go. This is a great time. Let's talk about how great First Down Playbook is right here.
Yeah,
Why don't you go ahead, Donovan? Give us this is a great time to talk about the sponsor that does great things.
First Down Playbook is the nation's leading playbook and play design software. Not the state, not the city, the nation's leading playbook and play design software. They have 35,000 professionally drawn and editable team plays, notes, full playbooks. If you don't know even where to start from, if you're a new coordinator, new head coach, you want to start with a whole new playbook, you can go right into First Down Playbook and start being creative, making your own ideas straight from them.
And taking ideas.
Entire playbook's on there.
Yes, on there. Like,
entire playbook.
That's what was crazy, like, showing my assistants this. Yeah. They were like, hold on a second. Because you can create your own personal playbook that no one on the team sees even.
We've been transferring everything over into First Down Playbook, and it took a few times, and then realizing how quick it can be. Even if you don't want to get a new playbook, you're going to go to a different system, you want to draw some things out. Now, a lot of that is from Coach Stout. Coach Stout went in there and did a lot of the pre-work, so thank you, Coach Stout.
But like the young guy stuff, right? Like we were talking about being a young coach. You can go in there and say it's something you really love. You create your own playbook. Now you have your own thing that you could take with yourself, right? Like create plays, things. That's why it's amazing.
But I loved how we made all I went through and made all these templates of every route, every little detail, every
defense.
formation, every defense. So now everybody from youth, middle school, freshman down can all use them, and they could all be in our verbiage and everything too to get that alignment.
Or make your own and it's super easy to do.
Yeah,
you would have you have a custom. But either way, use the code headsets25. You get 15% off what's already the best and most affordable option in today's game.
And that's an individual or team account. Whatever account you're signing up for, you can get that. So they're great. I think that's a big part of what we do. I think that's a great question. If you're watching this, would love a comment on your ideas. If you're a coach and you think you do it great, would love a comment on that, because personally, I think this is one of the hardest things to do really well, that you're always looking for ideas as you get going here. Question 4. We have the fine line between tackling too little in practice and tackling too much. Basically, like, how do you balance that line? What do you do? What do you believe in? From Coach Dix.
I like that. I like that. Coach Dix, my guy.
I bet Coach Dix likes to really get after in practice. I had to guess.
He's a freaking animal.
I don't know you, Coach Dix, but I'm down, man. Let's go.
Shout out, my guy. For us, man, that's like a tough question. I think it's like where your team is. I think it's every year I catch it up, and I don't have a base model that's a one-size-fits-all here. I think it's something that can really be, it can be changed. It can be changed throughout the year. It can be changed. It can be lessened throughout the year. So there's not really a one-size-fits-all model. But what I would say, though, is for us, my first few years, we tackled a lot because we couldn't play football. We didn't know, like, we weren't playing well. The angles we were taking, just different things. We had to play football to learn football. And so we had to tackle to be able to tackle. And now we're to the point where we do the tackling circuits early enough. It's a system now that we have in place. And if we see that our teams are lacking intensity, we're going full tackle periods. We're going to go green, gold, and we're going to split our teams best on best, and we're going to get after it. And we're going to get that energy up in practice. And we do that every single day, though, throughout camp. We start every day, green and gold is separated. We do our warm-up, and we go straight into 4 plays. One offense gets 4 plays to score from the 10-yard line. And so they want to be more than 50%, right? It's a competition, and guys are doing up downs, whatever side you choose. If you're not in right at that time, you got to pick a side that you think's better, right, to bring out competition and stuff. And that's a full tackling period. And we do that every single day throughout the entire year. And that's 4 plays every day on Monday through Wednesday that you're full go tackling. And then on Tuesday, to be honest, we really do tackle Tuesday. And that's kind of our motto on Tuesday. We're going to tackle each other. And then there's some periods like inside run, we're really going to stay off tackling because it's so condensed that we don't want guys falling on top of each other and doing that. But in team period, we got to tackle, baby. Like, we got, I don't know, like, I'm a firm believer you got to tackle to be able to tackle. And I'll lessen it probably week 8, week 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to do less and less tackles. I hope that answers it.
My man's mowing here. We should probably finish this question up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'll take it from like not the tackling standpoint, but just the overall. How loud is that through there?
It is what it is. We'll finish it. Yeah.
I think, like just from the physicality, like pads on hitting. So from all perspectives, you guys good with some honesty here? A little bit of honesty.
Yeah,
a little bit of honesty.
Yeah.
We all played college, and we probably all had similar. Was like, all right, you tone down pretty heavily as the year goes on, like in terms of pads and hitting everything. I think even high school, I think barring massive injuries, barring your first year being a head coach where you're still building everything, there is not really a reason that you couldn't do majority of your practice week, even early in the season, light contact, helmets only, shells, light contact. And I think the honesty here is that if you can't, barring those reasons, injuries, first-year coaching, a new program, is that the onus is kind of on us as coaches. Either the playbook's too complicated, so people are moving slow or too fast. You're not coaching the intensity well enough. Something happened the way you didn't build up the physical toughness. Again, barring those extreme circumstances, I'm sure when you first got to Northam, like that first year is like, oh, we're going to tackle every single day. There's no excuse here. Or crazy injuries where you got to get young kids ready to go. I think if you can't do it, barring extreme circumstances, then you got to look at why can't you. And it's not always, it's just the kids. who's the one teaching the kids?
Right.
Who's the one coaching the kids? What are the circumstances around them that make it that they have to be able to blow up their bodies every single day, Monday through Thursday, and then feel like crap when it comes to week 8, week 9 of the season when you're making a push.
I like that, yeah.
I guess I'm in the middle. I mean, there are teams like we talked with Coach Morrison at Liberty, and they don't tackle at all, and they just want to state championships. And there's probably teams who hit all the time and win. I think it's not a clear cut, but I think it's where your team is at. Like, how old is your team? What's going on? How well are you playing? I think that determines it. Early on, the work is the work, and you need to work early on.
Yeah.
As you get in the season, I think that depends. Even in the season, I still like some physicality in some periods, but I'm always looking to try to cut some things out of some. Like blitz period. I don't want our running backs to have to fill and pick up the A gap because it's blitzes all the time. They're going to be picking up a blitz. I don't need them to have 12, 15 straight reps of hard physical contact. So sometimes, try to limit it.
Too.
I try to limit that stuff. It's much more of
Good point.
eye assignment type thing for me. It's something I've tried to do over the years to limit that, to save guys and mileage as you get to that. But definitely situational. But I think there's no one approach.
No, there's no one-size-fits-all there.
I'll say this, and maybe you guys remember the same. It's, again, only been 4 years for me, so I remember this pretty clearly. But I think coming in, I was like, yeah, we're going to hit all the time. Sweet, let's get these kids routed up.
Yeah.
It took one time, like the first, rolled ankle or the first, kid got dropped on his shoulder, like one of my linemen. Took one time where I'm like, every time we have a late hitting practice in October, I'm like, ooh. It just took the one. Before then, it's let's get it on.
I had
It
one
took
my
the
first
one
year
time.
where we were doing we were doing heads up blocking in the circle, and our best player rolled his ankle on it, and everybody's looking at me, and it was like week 6 or it was probably week 7 around them. Everybody's looking at me like, why were we even doing that drill? Like, bro, this is my first year. We got to roll, man. We got to get physicality in. We got to get them ready, man.
We're a little different too, and we are that Chip Kelly-esque full speed day before model.
Yeah.
And there's about one injury a year usually that happens on that day, but we believe that has led to being ready to go and being physical on game day. I don't know. I think our staff is a little split on it sometimes about
some weeks
it.
probably. But that's every staff in America,
Yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's a great question, and I think it's just what you believe in and how's your program playing. And
absolutely.
If you're winning with what you're doing, it's probably good.
Yes.
If you're not, then maybe it's time to evaluate.
Yeah.
We have another question here.
Hold on a second.
Question 5. Okay. Finding a balance between self-scouting and opponent scouting. There's only so many hours in a day led me to perhaps focusing on our opponent rather than internal issues / areas of improvement. Interested to hear what others think and strategies used. Coach Dale.
That's a good question.
It is.
It's a really good question. I think for us, and it's something we had to get a lot better at, is we would focus a lot more on the other team than focusing on our own film. And there was sometimes, and this was early, my first 3 years at Northland. And then we started transitioning to our kids. Now, they break down the film. And they bring their notes. The first 45 minutes of a Monday film session are our kids sitting in their position groups and breaking down the film, and we give them the worksheet that they break the film down on. And so they break the film down for us, and they break down the other team. Then now they've watched that team, right? So Tuesday we could go over their best formations, what our game plan is. But on that Monday, after they've watched that other team, now we can hone in on ourselves.
So what
Does
what
that
do
make
you
sense?
do? What do you do on Saturday?
On Saturday, we watch our own, but we don't get through the whole film. So we
Okay.
kind of finish, and then we do our Sunday review, and we look at our best plays and we look at our worst plays.
Yeah.
So like showing the lows, showing our kids who like the bad plays. So we go it's 2 good, 2 great, and 1 bad, and 1 very ugly. That's what it is, because it's 8 plays.
That's all you watch on Saturdays, 8 plays?
On Monday.
On Monday.
Yep. Or on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Yep, Tuesday.
So you're taking last week's game all the
Or
way
Monday,
into
Monday. And then Tuesday's our film where the coaches give us their game plan for the week. Monday is our like good, bad, very ugly stuff, right? And that shows us on Monday as they're breaking down the other team. And it's worked a lot in the last 2 years, and it showed. In our 9-1 season, our kids in it, they developed so much better football knowledge by having to explain to us what the other team's doing, and by having to tell us what they're trying to go to, who's their best player, who's the guy we want to watch, who are they trying to get the ball to, right? Like, they have to watch those games.
We got Donovan.
I think on Saturdays, like I like that system. It's kind of what we do too, where you show a set amount of plays from the game so you can make corrections. I do think there's something to be said about not showing too much or anything at all. If you had a really big win, it's like, all right, on to the next time. Or if you had a really bad loss, I'm sure
some of that also is dependent on that. What you're bringing up is definitely. Last year when we were up against Mifflin 52-0 at halftime.
It's like, all right,
we're not showing that film at all on Saturday.
When we in college, when we lost to Ohio State 76-5, we didn't watch a single play of that game.
It's wild. 5 is a tough score to get.
5-0.
5 is
We got 5-0 in the first quarter. It was crazy time. Anyways, I think it's that balance, but I think you can self-correct from a lot I think you can solve a lot from self-correcting, whether it's in film and still throughout the week, regardless of what your opponent does or who they are. I think you get into a little bit of a mix when you shift from like, all right, we've seen a 4-down team for 4 weeks. Now we're seeing a 3-down team. Okay. Now it's just not all about self-scouting, self-correcting. Now it's time to adjust how you practice, how you adjust to things and actually look at it versus, we're just going to work on our craft. You got to incorporate a little bit if you have some major changes. But I think, generally speaking, if you throw in, like I'm thinking for offensive line and run game, you throw in blitz pickup for the teams, you throw in how they do things if it's unique. Like I'm thinking like Olentangy Berlin last year. They're unique fronts. You can't really do self-scouting, and you can say stick on your technique, but like you have to do a heavy dose of what that team
what
is.
they're doing, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I like that.
I took it twofold, and I tackled the question of the self-scout. We do self-scout. I think if you're going to be a great play caller, you want to have success, like you have to self-scout, right? Like you have to figure out what your tendencies are, and you have to figure out too, like you got to stack those. If you want to have layers on plays, right, you got to know what your tendencies are, right? Correct. So plays. So I think that's a huge thing. Some people do that every week. We don't do that every week.
We don't either.
We do that periodically.
I would say it's when we feel as though we're getting too tendency heavy. I think that we get to a point through the season, and it might be like week 2. And we'll be like, all right, let's check what we look like. Maybe teams are picking up a little bit more on our tendencies. All right, then week 6 we check it again, and it varies.
We'll do it periodically, or depending on what type of game you're heading into. But
You
the other
don't
thing
have enough time, man.
we're always focused on our issues and our areas of improvement, though. Like when we watch film, like on the whiteboard, we're writing down things we didn't do well.
Yes.
Hey, we got to work double teams. Hey, our pulls aren't great. Hey, our stems versus this weren't great. So by the end of watching film, we have a board already of things we wrote down that we have to get better at. We didn't do great enough yet. And another question I ask all these guys on our staff planning sheet is, what is your unit's area of emphasis next week? And so that, for me, on the sheet lets me know, like, there's something that they want their unit to get either better at from the week before, or it's a major emphasis they need to do great heading into this week. And so that's something that I ask these guys every week, and I read and I challenge them to, and I think that's a big one. Question 6, a little change up here. Little Browns situation. The Browns quarterback situation and battle. I guess our thoughts on it. This is from one of Donovan's former players here, Gabe.
Shout out, Gabe.
I'll start. I have not followed it a ton. I've been very busy. I've seen a little bit about it. I obviously have an opinion about it. I think it's pretty crazy, our quarterback situation at the Browns right now.
It's hilarious.
It's not funny.
I don't know what we're doing, if I'm being honest. I'm not on the Sanders train like this guy is. I think if the Sanders beats out Gabriel, it might even be just because of his name. That's my opinion. I don't know. I have a
I
hard.
don't like that he's talking like this and doesn't have any research.
To me, they seem
it's
like
non-evidence.
they drafted
based.
two similar quarterbacks. So
And
I
this
just
is
don't.
emotion coming from you.
Okay,
right?
but to me, I don't understand it. You drafted two similar style and body type of quarterbacks. I just don't understand it. I don't like what we did. I also don't like seeing Mason Graham puking his brains out.
Yeah.
Not even being able to make it through mini camp individual. So I'm a little worried about the current draft, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Mason Graham, first-round draft pick. I'm listening to Bussin' with the Boys this week, and you get a little loose once you get to be a first-round draft pick. You gotta live it up a little bit. Let my guy live. He's gonna be all right.
He was a dog in college.
Yeah,
though.
he's gonna be good. He's living it up a little bit, and he'll be locked in here once we get to OTAs and things like that. But what I'll say is, I've been watching a ton of these interviews on guys that have been at the Browns camps, been at the Browns stuff, because I'm a true fan and I love the Browns, unlike Kyle.
Damn.
My busy schedule's not going to get in the way of my Brownies. Let me just tell you that.
Just busy, sorry.
Fun fact, Kyle Stout hates if NFL games are on in our coaches meeting on Sundays.
Hate it.
They can't stand it.
Oh, wow.
Can't stand it. By the way, you could be paying full attention. That thing's on your phone in the corner, 15 feet away.
But you time out.
He'll
You're not.
He'll give you a look. He'll give you a look and be like, and it won't be a look of I'm mad or turn it off. It's just a look of like disappointment.
Because I'm pissed. I've spent my whole day trying to put this game plan together, and I'll try to get you guys to even talk, and I'll be like, "What play do you guys like?" And you look at me and go, "Counter."
What do you like? Yeah.
And I'll be like, "Do you have a formation? Do you have something you like about it? Or are you just going to tell me a play we run?" And you guys sit there and you watch
Power.
This ain't the Gehenna behind the scenes show.
Nah,
Well,
but, hey,
let me talk about my guy.
I've been like that
Shedeur.
my whole life. I will sacrifice not watching any NFL, and I'll watch all the film in the world for us, and I'll be like, NFL will always be there. We're in this moment right now to win.
I thought I was answering this question.
Go ahead.
I'm
All
sorry.
right, thank you. But back to what I was saying is the fact of the matter is, first, it's on my mind right now. Shout out to Big Bad Brad, since everybody loves that Big Bad Brad. My guy. Bad Brad. All right, but that was just on my mind real quick. But Shedeur Sanders, I'm hearing this guy talking that's been at every rookie minicamp, everything, and they say you pick up a ball to ball, Shedeur is light years better than Dylan Gabriel. And that's what I'm hearing from a lot of the guys that are at these rookie mini camps is what I'm seeing. Are you seeing something different, Donnie?
I haven't heard that he's light years better.
Oh, light years better. I heard it's not even close.
I did
That's
hear
it, word for word that it is not even close is what I heard from an analyst that goes to every practice.
Some said, analyst-wise, very high ceiling.
Yeah,
and
he's-
accuracy-wise, has a very high ceiling.
And he threw
to
some
be
great balls. I think Shedeur's going to be our starting quarterback. That's what I think. Just from right now on, I think Shedeur's our starting quarterback to start us for the Browns.
Start of the season or at some point?
Starting for us to start of the season.
I don't think that's that bold of a prediction.
I'll take a man bet on that.
What's the man bet? A brew?
Yes.
All right. I like
Nice, that tall brew. He
I
will
like
not
that.
start week one. That's
All right.
the thing. He is not the starting quarterback of week one. All right. Donnie?
Couple things.
that. Oh, Jesus.
One.
He shouldn't answer this. He's
Hold on,
not
hold
a
on.
Browns
Hold on.
fan.
No, no.
Jonathan loves NFL trade, player, personnel stuff.
So here's one thing I'll say before you dive too deep into it. I think it's good to look back and say, you know what, my wife's a Lions fan, you guys are Browns fans, a bunch of my buddies are Browns fans, I'm a Redskins fan. We have essentially been like raised kids in terms of our
You're a
friendship
Commanders
surrounding.
fan.
Don't know who the Commanders. are.
Commanders.
But we've been like childhood friends that have grown up together, right? All three of our teams, Lions, Browns, Redskins, have absolutely been terrible. Quarterback hell, miserable franchise, bad luck, you name it. So in this next season, it does feel a little emotional stepping away from that friend group and leaving them in the dust. I'm going off to college. My other friends are going to go drive a truck.
I swear
like,
to God,
I get it.
I hope your team doesn't have a bust of a year.
I
with
get
all
it.
This talk.
I
get
hate
it.
to wish something upon him, but
8 primetime games this year and a top 5 quarterback in the league.
not when Jalen Daniels gets hurt.
Jaden Daniels.
All right, go ahead.
Jalen, Jesus Christ.
I said,
so there's that piece.
Watch out for flash pan success.
No,
I think NFL
They get figured out easily.
NFL defensive coordinators.
CJ Stroud.
He didn't get figured out.
NFL defensive coordinators.
No, people
when
have said that all
when
the
they
time.
have an entire year of off study on a quarterback or a
Only
particular
one,
offense or coordinator who lit it up, they almost always come
Say
back
the,
and
say
shut
the
them
one
down.
that doesn't get that to happen to him every year, though.
What do you mean?
Who's the one quarterback that everybody hates seeing, and he's
Mahomes.
been you can't figure him out.
Why? Why can't you figure him
He's
out?
elite.
Why
Andy
can't you
Reid.
figure Allen out?
Time out.
Because they're good.
To
They're
me,
elite.
To me, that's different because they're an established offense, established coach, established quarterback. I'm talking
the one-hit wonders.
the one-hit wonder.
Like
you
you
come out,
guys,
it's
the
new,
Daniels,
it does
yes.
great.
Okay, let me ask you
Go
that. So you said, we'll get back to the Browns in a second. You said C.J. Stroud. How did he have a sophomore slump? Tell me how. Because he threw. I'll tell you why he didn't. He threw for 4,000 yards. It was still like 32 touchdowns, like 7 picks. They won a playoff game and they won their division.
I think the yardage is gassed up
Okay, fine.
nowadays.
Get rid of the
like
yards.
The way we throw the ball.
Get rid of the yards.
Different offenses.
68% completion rate, I think it was. Like 30 touchdowns, like 8 or 9 picks. Won a playoff game, won their division. So he didn't drop off. He lost 3 starters on O-line. He lost Stephon
And you
Diggs.
guys ain't going to win the Super Bowl and do all these things.
Why
that you're
can't we?
saying.
All right, continue
All
on
right, go
about
on.
continue on
You're
about the
ridiculous.
Browns.
Anyways, I think it is hilarious that the Browns drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. You wasted a 3rd-round pick on a quarterback that was probably going to be picked in the 6th or 7th round of the draft. Maybe that's your evaluation. I get it.
I'm mad because we need other pieces,
Yeah.
linemen and different
Yes.
things
I
like
agree.
that.
I hate this.
I don't
hate
understand
our
the
draft.
Why not take Shadur in the 3rd round there? But that's one. I think they're going to figure it out with Deshaun Watson.
We're a really good
insurance.
lineman. Something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They'll figure it out with Watson, like the insurance pup list, and I think they'll trade Pickett, and I think Flacco will be the starter, and eventually in the season, you're going to have Shadur come in, and he's going to perform well, and then he's going to have bad games, perform well, bad games, and you're going to go into 2026 like a typical Browns fan, Browns franchise, and not know what's going on. Should we draft a quarterback? Should we draft Arch Manning? Should we keep Shadur? And he'll mess it up in 2026 again.
It happens to some programs.
I'm sick of Donnie.
But,
Last
but here's what I'll
Continue
say. I will say this. I am with you to an extent. I think there's a higher likelihood of Shadur being a really good starter than being like a bust. We forget his name in a year. He's cut. He roams teams. I think there's a higher chance.
I'm not saying like 1 year and done. I just don't see it. I don't see it translating, but we'll see. All right, last question, overtime. Coach Sayers absolutely wants this. It is a anniversary episode. Looking back, favorite episodes, guests, or moments. What's been some of last year? What do you have? What stood out to you the best?
I think my favorite one was just, to be honest with you, I think the episode with Ohio State was my favorite, man.
That was awesome.
That's just based off of selfish reasons. That's my guy, right? Again, I love Ohio State. I love him. And I thought it was so fun, and I thought it was a blast.
It was fun, but he did still steal
Our pick six.
Our pick 6 name.
Yeah,
So,
and he said it was
I'm-
DraftKings. I texted him about
I'm
it. He
still-
said it was
what'd he
their
say?
thing. It was DraftKings
Oh, yeah,
chose that.
sure.
I bet, and you gave the idea. But then also another episode that I truly loved and appreciated him coming on and giving his time was Coach Merritt. Like being down at the U. I think a lot of times when you have a podcast like us that's not a national busting with
For
the
sure.
boys or somebody like that,
sure.
it's really tough to get speakers from a place like the U, right? And somebody to give their time, and he had to go through so many different channels, right? Like, you remember the week before it? Like, I had to make sure we weren't saying any cuss words, weren't drinking, we didn't
Couldn't talk anything X's and O's.
X's
wise,
and O's.
yeah.
There was a lot of things, and he had to get it passed through their PR and he went through those extra steps just to be on our show, and that I really appreciate that, especially him being a previous coach of mine and taking that time out of the day and being able to do that for us. I think that was just like one of my favorite episodes. And then this is year 3, being with the boys, being on Kyle's back deck again, getting to play with little Harper for a little bit, and just a great day.
I've got my top 3. Okay, no order. I'll just give you my favorite 3.
Okay.
I think our very first episode was one of my favorites looking back because of just how silly it was. The recording is not working.
Oh, you're talking about over not
you're-
season
Are you talking about
3.
this season? Sorry, you go this season? This season specifically?
Typically how we've done it, yeah.
Deaf. That's okay. This season specifically, I really like the Coach Merritt one. I think Coach Morrison from Old Tangible.
Yeah, that was a fire one.
I think
took
it was
a few things.
yes.
Like with them talking about. Sorry to cut you off,
No.
Donnie, but them like doing position drills for
Yes.
other positions was
Yes.
like we're doing that this year.
I
You know
thought
what
Coach Morrison had great insights, but I thought it was so cool to have a coordinator for a team that I think we all respect and a program we all respect that just won the state championship for the city of Columbus. Like you get a Central Ohio team, and that coach is coming to talk about that experience, and you get to hear about that from just more than what you hear from the paper or talking,
Right.
texting another coach. So I thought
And he
that
believes
was awesome.
in Bigfoot, which is
Well, who
I
doesn't?
hate that.
Well, who doesn't? Come on now.
I don't. I can't get down with it. I hate it. Where did I go? Like last year, I went to this restaurant. They had the Bigfoot sandwich. I sent it to Kyle immediately. I was like, "You gotta come here and eat this."
Coach Morrison knows what's up. Go ahead, Donnie. Second one.
Second one, okay, you're going all top three. So you had Coach Morrison. You talking about just season 3, or you're talking?
Yeah, season 3. I love
Some
this
of it's
episode, though.
season 2, but
Yeah.
it's within the last calendar year.
Yeah, I did like the one with my teammate Nate Treywick.
That was
that was
good, yeah.
really cool. I think it was a different perspective, and I think getting to hear it from like a teammate that I played with was really cool, and just getting transported back a few years.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
cool.
was really cool. So those are probably my 2 favorite from this season. I think those are my 2
I love that
favorite.
you brought up the first episode, though. I have
That's
to,
one of my
because that
favorite
is
ones.
So
Well,
funny.
It was gonna be first episode Morrison,
My
and then
Wi-Fi out.
Yeah.
Yours is we're choppy.
and then
We
Coach
have-
Caduti.
Dude, I got Spectrum came to
gotta
my
get him
house
back on.
5 to 6 times just to make sure we could run the podcast at my house.
I laugh because like it crashed twice, and the very like first year I was recording on a coffee table propped up on like storage bins.
Amazing.
And
I
I-
was in my living room.
And I thought I was being sweet going to buy this like leather chair to sit down and podcast from, and I got it home and the legs were broke. It was just like
unbelievable.
But the glow up's been real for your boy in the football office. But mine, I went with Coach Wilson. He did the winning the red zone on defense, and I really liked it a lot because
I like that one too.
he really broke it down into talking defensively, talking about here are the most common things offenses like to do down in this area, like equipping their players with the knowledge to win in that section. And it was cool because Coach Wilson obviously was one of my coaches in college. So it's cool to keep it up with that. And now he's at USF right now. And then the other one that I thought, 10 lessons learned through losing with Coach Varney.
Yeah, I like that one.
That was a great one too. Varney's the man.
I think in the 3 years, if I had to give you a most impactful episode or one I would tell any young coach or a new head coach or a new coordinator or anybody, there were so many good things in there about how to keep a perspective or what to focus on or how to continue to get better through adversity and things. He did, in terms of a guest coming on and being prepared to put on a really good episode, he really
and he was
did
juiced
great.
up to do it. I love Varney.
Yeah.
Love Varney.
He
He's
did
a great
it.
dude.
Those are my favorites. Those are really good. And it's cool because now we're going to circle back to some guys. We just talked about Coach Caduti. We got Coach Manus coming on
guy.
in the next month. They just started their website.
Back to Tyner.
And he's going to talk about applying the Ohio State defense or top concepts into high school. What can you take away and run? And he's done a whole season breakdown, so I'm excited for that. But, boys, congrats. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, I want to ask one more question. One quick question.
You're entitled.
What's one thing that you would have told yourself when we first, or what's something you would tell yourself in 5 years?
Which
Not
way?
in
Which
the
way are we
past,
going?
Not
here
the
with that?
back past.
Yeah, which
I
way are we
meant
going?
to go
What am
forward
I-
because we already talked about past. I'm going to talk about what
Well-
would you tell yourself to remember or know about or think about in your future? We don't ever talk about that.
What would I tell myself to remember or think about
about
in the future 5 years from now? I think the big thing would be like soak in moments.
Yeah, I like it.
Moments in football, championship moments. Maybe it's a particular season or a player relationship or even doing this now. I think that's a big thing to try to soak up because I think in our profession, the moment you win that game, you might enjoy it for a little bit, and then you're on already waking up and you're thinking
next
about
one.
improving,
Yes.
thinking about the next
Yes.
thing. And so I
like
think the
that.
biggest thing is to try to celebrate moments with players because, like what you said, like sometimes when that season's done, it's done. You're never
over.
going to get it back. You're never going to have that same relationship with those kids. So try to find a way to honor it, remember it, put it in the bank. That's something I would say. Celebrate those things. For me, having 2 kids now, I don't go out as much anymore after games. But I do try to make it a point, since I don't go out as much as everybody else, I do try to go out sometimes with the guys.
And refuse to take fireball shots that I buy 'em.
and do that. But I will say,
refuse to.
I set an alarm on my phone. I set an alarm on my phone because we have guys on our staff that are just like burning burning planes. They want to drag you down with them.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And next thing, it's 2 a.m. So I set an alarm for an hour, and I'll go in and have fun with the guys and celebrate it, and then I'm out. And I've perfected you don't even say goodbye to everybody, you just leave.
Yeah, oh, you have.
But I think those are things I would continue to tell
that.
myself that you have to do.
Yeah.
I would say it's kind of the same sentiment of cherish the moments of the games, the memories you have for the football side, and then the life side. Like my wife and I are so excited for this baby in the fall, but she said something today. She's like, don't wish away like all our last moments as a couple together. She's like, don't wish those away. And I said, yeah, that's a good point. I'm so excited for it. She's excited, but I said, I can't wait to have X, Y, Z. Yeah. She's like, dude, this is the last time. She said, there's going to be a day where it's the last time that you and I sit down to watch a football game together.
I would
last day that we do something.
suggest, if you don't have it planned, we haven't talked about it, you two go on a vacation this summer.
Yes. Yep.
You better look at it as, hey, like, I'm glad, like, my wife and I went on our honeymoon and a big vacation before that, and I'm glad we did it because we thought about maybe not doing it because we were worried about money. We just had a wedding. We were trying to buy a house. I'm glad we did because vacations and things like that are never the same once you have kids. So if you don't have one plan, you might want to plan one because, in my personal opinion, you'll never forget it. You'll be glad you did.
Yep, I like that. Good. Me answer it too?
Yeah, you asked.
That was just
That's how the whole questions have gone, yeah.
So I was going to let you guys roll.
Sounded like Davis, and it's like, me answer?
I was going to let you roll. I was going to let you guys roll off. But, I think for myself, I would just tell myself to remember the tough times, too, like when it was tough at Northland, right? Like when those days got long and they got hard, because it's like a machine now, right? Like, and we were just talking about that as a staff, was like, I feel like it's a machine at Northland where we know what we're doing. We know.
You're calling yourself a machine?
He uses a machine that's long and hard every day at Northland. That's what he's saying.
Valid point. No, I'm saying that I feel like everything like we know what fundraisers we're running. We know what they're used for. We know what we're paying them for. We know that we have a nice weight room now. Like there's so many things. I want to remember like what it was before because I walk in my weight room now. And I'm like,
you want to remember the grind?
Yeah, like I want to remember those times where it's like I came in and that we're on a cement floor breaking freaking steel plates, dude. Like we're trying to hang clean my first year. Like, and I'm not even thinking. I'm just being a young, dumb head coach. And I'm like, all right, we're hang cleaning. I don't care. We're on the cement. Let's go, boys. Like, it's about toughness. And then there's just shattering metal plates all through the weight room, dude. There's metal everywhere. And I remember being like, no, I guess we're not hang cleaning no more.
Got that big rogue budget now, though.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about is like those hard times, like what we went through. And I shout out Chris Roberts my first year, dude. We went in there and you look at the locker room now, we got the nice white. We just have made it look way better. And then Roberts and I came in. We came in and we threw away 3/4 sleeve jerseys that were still in there from like the 1980s, dude. It was crazy.
You should have kept those and rocked those one.
Dog,
game.
it was there was probably like 20 something of them, but 3/4 boys. There's like mold on them. It was gross. Me and Roberts digging through. We're like, no way. So those hard times.
I've been there before too.
Just remember those, right?
When you take over a program, sometimes it maybe hasn't performed very well. It's pretty interesting the things you're cleaning up.
Well, especially like it's probably different for you, but doing it early 2000s when everything is way different. You're coming in and seeing stuff from the 70s. It's probably even crazier.
Crazier when you were back.
That's a perfect endpoint.
All
so
right, we appreciate it.
I just want to say, hey, all the coaches who gave or people who reached out with things for us to talk about topics, we really appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow. We're excited for this summer lineup and the great things we have coming on. Make sure you check out the sponsors. Make sure you get with them. Thank you, man. The mosquitoes are getting bad. We got to end this tonight.
Boy,
it's been great. We appreciate everybody. Let's go crush this summer. Keep this thing going. All right?
We appreciate everybody.
Let's do it.